Okay, guys, welcome to a brand new episode of WrestleSlam, the podcast brought to you by Manscaped.com and the Macau Casino, Cork City. Yet again, do use our promo code WrestleSlam for 20% off and check out the 4.0 package. We'd like to thank Manscaped for sending us lots of goodies, and we're looking forward to the new goodies coming in due course because they're constantly coming up with ideas. Very creative. I'm joined by Matt Murphy, who's he likes to take the piss out of me, and Phil Conley. We're fresh after some massive pay-per-views, obviously NXT Battleground, Double or Nothing, and Night of Champions. There's a lot of news that we're going to get through.
Can I just say before we go on, I lost my hair because of how bad AEW was. That show, lad, that show was a biz. I think AEW have a cult following that I don't know how people like that show. It was just that it made me mad. I know we'll talk about it, but it really made me angry. How bad?
No, we're going to go straight to the Double or Nothing. Just purely because look, we seen pictures, Matt and Phil, of the arena. It wasn't even half full. It wasn't even a quarter full. But listen, I am a big fan of All Elite Wrestling. I'm not going to talk absolute shit about them because I've liked a lot of their pay-per-views and stuff. But Phil, first of all, I think last night was an absolute disaster, was it?
It's just, you know what it was? We were talking just before we came on about not being invested. I think people are just not invested anymore. I think we're now at the point where we're like WWE, where like Moxley's been in AEW for 4 years, Jericho's been there for 4 years. They're starting to become that stale that happened in WWE years ago. We're just constantly the samey.
Yeah.
I don't think people care as much as they did 2-3 years, but like this is the 5th Double or Nothing, which is mental.
Yeah, and Matt Murphy, I'm sure you've seen on Twitter, like it looked like the arena was half full, and I feel bad. I feel bad, first of all, lads, for any promoter that does invest a lot of money. Like this was in a really big arena. This is an arena that holds some of the biggest UFC fights of all time. But it's there was lots of matches. The card was decent prior to it. It wasn't the worst we've seen, but there was obviously a new champion's crown. But Matt, what was your take on, first of all, the crowd? Because we were kind of talking last week's episode and the week before, we were saying like the ticket sales weren't great for this, but what was your thoughts, first of all, on the pictures you've seen on Twitter?
I just want to say something right now. I want to apologize to the entire NXT roster. The reason is because like I couldn't watch Double or Nothing live, same with Battlefield. I came back from work, so I was like, oh, the show's coming up. Should I watch Double or Nothing or Battlefield? You know what? I'll try and watch some Double or Nothing. And I regretted it just a few minutes ago, lads. I can't talk too much shit about the show, but like it's just that they've had so much bad moments that I personally wasn't invested with it just because I easily lost track of AEW. So okay, to me, probably the best match of the night has to be the last match. Well, the second last match was the Fatal 4-Way.
Yeah.
And I know Phil is making a face, but
it was good. To be fair, that was good. I will give it.
I think it was just because I feel like at this point that because Jungle Boy, Damian, Sammy Guevara, and MJF, AEW and Tony knows how good they are and how good they can actually work in the ring because they work with each other so long. So I think they kind of knew at this point, the show is going nowhere at this point. We need to just go out, do the best they can, and they did. And then after that was the Elite versus the Blackpool Combat Cup. Lads, I have no idea what the fuck was going on in that match. If I'm going to be straight with you.
It was chaotic and it had that bullshit super kick explosion, which I really hate. I hate tacky shit like that.
I actually loved it. Where the fuck did the explosion come from? Obviously, it was on his foot.
Yeah, then there was things like they're putting tacks in the mouth, and then they were attacking the band members on stage. It was just absolute chaos. I suppose it was what it said, anarchy in the arena. It basically was chaotic. Like,
I'm just gonna say this now, but because the band kept on playing Wild Thing, I mean, it was a cool effect at first, but like lads, just tone it down now. I was like thinking maybe the wrestlers in the ring like John Moxley and like Daniel Bryan and all the Elite. Was it difficult for them to communicate with each other just because the band was that fucking loud? I'm just like singing it loud.
And it happened last year too, wasn't it? Jericho had to pull the speakers out. last
Yeah,
year.
he did, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
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 I understand if you want to create atmosphere to keep people more invested, but like there's a point of like, blowing us all away to okay, now it's just being over dramatic now, lads.
It just, you know what it was? I was watching this last night and I was thinking, you remember, like I said it before, but Jericho coming down in those rafters, like how do we get from that to this? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
Um,
it's a
don't
strange one.
understand like how we get from here to here because it's sad, to be honest with you.
I
And
I know usually Jerry, you usually say like one by match, one by one, but I just kind of want to rant about like
yeah,
one of
exactly.
the worst match on the card has to be Chris Jericho and Adam Cole. Chris
Mhm.
Jericho, he's one of my top 10 wrestlers of all time. Adam Cole's one of my top favorite wrestlers at the moment. Like, but Jesus Christ, I just felt so bad because everyone on the outside just fought each other. You just forget that it was like a Adam Cole versus Chris Jericho match. They could have just left it as like an all brawl match. And Sabu was there. I've no fucking idea why Sabu's there again. Uh, but I honestly thought when the match ended, I personally thought that's it. The rivalry's over. No, Chris Jericho and Tavares is gonna face Dr. Britt Baker and Adam Cole. I'm just like, do we have to watch this match? But like, yeah, that's just my rant about that
What
match.
what what do you make of Jericho's condition, Jerry? You know, just because like when I was watching, he looked rough, like.
Yeah, like he's not getting any younger. Like to me, Chris Jericho is top five of all time, and I
Yeah,
love I love Chris Jericho to bits. I'm happy he's still involved. I'm going to miss him when he's not. But like Chris is 52. He's had a very long career. He's still very active. He's more active than Roman Reigns, which is telling you where Jericho is at. Yeah, I am concerned.
he didn't
Pers-
look healthy at all. Like he looked extra heavy or something.
Well, see, the thing is with Jericho, he had that real crisis there. I think it was about a year and a half ago. I
Yeah,
think he
yeah,
was
yeah.
on tour, as you know, and
Yeah, he was in Nottingham when it happened. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, and he cut a lot of weight. Not saying he was big, but like I suppose when you're on the road, I suppose, and you get older, the body just reacts differently. But
yeah.
yeah, I see where you're coming from. Even before the match, I was concerned. I'm like, Adam can bring the best out of Chris, and Chris can bring the best out of Adam. But I think, look, I personally can't see Chris having more than 10 more matches from now to when he actually hangs up the boots. Now
You have a 5-year deal or something though.
he does, but I'm going to say it out loud. I think out of all the wrestlers, his own age, he's definitely up there. But I just think he needs to be a bit more protected.
I think
Not
it's
because not because he's not good enough. It's purely because geez, Chris is at this over 30 years.
yeah. It just
Yeah.
made me sad to look at it because even the finish of the match was just abysmal for this kind of match. It's like I put it up there with Seth Rollins and the Fiend bad.
But
Oh,
listen, Chris is a smart guy. He's not going to stick around and make a fool of himself. He
And it's a
knows, like,
non-sanctioned match, and they fucking ended it on a fucking knockout or something. It was like, is
yeah,
that was just felt like it's over? Okay, that was
yeah.
weird.
because
Chris,
I
yeah,
remember I read Chris Jericho's book a while back. His book a while back. No is a four-letter word, and Chris is a fella that if he doesn't like something, he'll call someone out. Like for example, this is a random one. I don't know why I'm gonna go with this, but his match with Fandango at one WrestleMania,
Oh
he
yeah,
absolutely did not want to wrestle that match. The
yeah,
Undertaker actually convinced him.
yeah. He
So
was
that just
supposed to fight
proves
right
like
back. I think he
he
was
was
supposed to fight right back.
I think he was, but he was still odd that he just didn't want to be in the ring with him. So that was just a random example of like if he does not like something, he won't complain, but he'll try and explain why he just doesn't like it. So
Yeah,
I feel like if this keeps up with storylines that we felt like is going nowhere, again, love Adam Cole to bits, love Chris Jericho to bits, but Chris is gonna have to call this out to Tony Khan. And Tony already has about like a million things that he has to sort out. Like,
yeah.
yeah. No, I agree. It's look, there's a lot of bad feedback, a lot of good feedback, but look, on a positive note, guys, Tony Storm, she's the new women's champ.
How did they go from having one of the best women's matches to having one of the worst women's matches?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Shaking my
I'm
head
not sure.
watching it, thinking this is terrible. And you know
Yeah,
what? I want to say some nice things about this show, and I really find it hard to
And you are a big All Elite fan.
Well, I like Toni Storm. I think she's very good, but like Jamie Hayter is surely Paige and Hayter would have been the match for London. Like, so I don't know what's going on.
Unless Paige turns, I don't know before then, like.
Yeah.
Do you know? That makes sense. Like, as you say, two British female superstars, that makes sense for London. Or maybe Paige turns on Toni Storm.
Lads, I'm going to make a bold prediction because I'm in the mood for it. In 2 years' time, mate, no one's going to be watching AEW. No one. In 2 years' time.
That is bold, lad. That is bold.
I just think extra shows, no one's going to care. People are going. It's too many shows. It's like what? It's like having a full-time job and no one has a time for watching all them shows. And then you're trying to watch a pay-per-view and you don't know what's. You don't even know who's fighting and why they're fighting because there's so much more.
All right. Are you saying that, Phil? I don't like to bring them up, but TNA, do you think AEW is going to go the same route as TNA? They're just going to lose track. They're going to lose track of everyone, trying way too hard to beat their competition and trying to make the AEW their own. But they're just everything so many ways.
Yes and no, but if they go down the road of TNA from 2017, they're in big trouble because that was just nobody even watched it. Nobody cared even to check results. I don't think it was that bad.
Yeah.
I remember we talked to Moose about all that stuff, Jerry, me and you, and he just like he didn't want to be there or nothing. And they weren't even getting paid, I don't think.
No, they weren't. They weren't getting paid a lot.
Yeah, so it was very dark times.
Yeah, seems to be. Look, I'm going to quickly run through the categories. Look, we don't have to comment, but obviously the Blackpool Combat Club, they defeated the Elite. MGF defeated Sammy, Darby, Jungle Boy, via pinfall. Chris Statlander defeated JR Cargill.
Okay, that's something that I really wanted to comment on, actually.
Yeah, there was obviously a double match, so people aren't aware that obviously, look, Jade obviously beat Taya first.
Yeah.
And then there was a surprise then, So yeah, Phil, drop it.
I just I don't like talking negative, but why is she losing to someone that has no build and she has the belt 18 months?
Yeah.
I did read today though that they're repackaging Jade Cargill, so she's going to be something else. So we'll see how that goes, but I don't understand why 18-month title reign loses to a person who just returns out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I like Chris Statlander. I think she's very good. Don't get me wrong, but like it just makes no sense.
Do you think Jed has the biggest stock?
She is very good. I think she should move on to bigger and better things from here. But like, it just makes mind-boggling decisions.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm a good man for Twitter, guys, as you know, and we operate the WrestleSlam Twitter page. But I find myself deep in looking at comments and like retweets and stuff, and a lot of people were saying Jade should have kept the belt. Even though she's had it for quite some time, they were saying that, like, you know what I mean, she should have dropped it the way she did. Obviously she dropped it in 50 seconds or something.
Yeah, as you know, I'm a big proponent of if there's no one to beat them, don't beat them.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. The host of Black Lads, obviously they beat the Acclaimed. Obviously, we know Toni Storm beat Jamie Hayter. Wardlow beat Christian Cage. FTR defeated Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal. I actually quite enjoyed that match.
Yeah, that was one of the better ones. Yeah, that was one of the better ones.
Jeff Jarrett looking $1 million. Obviously, Adam Cole defeated Chris Jericho. A long match. Orange Cassidy won the last eliminating. He beat Swerve Strickland, and he is the International All Elite Champion. And obviously, the Hardy Boys defeated Ethan Page and the Guns. And there's rumors that Jeff Hardy is now injured again, so we'll have to wait and see what comes out of that. But that's just, I hope he's not though, because this is his last chance, boys.
Yeah, I love Jeff Hardy. Lads, like, he's a huge part of my teen years, for God's sake, my teen years. But part of me doesn't want him to leave, but I think it's almost a bit time now at this rate. Like, I mean, he can't keep taking those type of dives and like.
Well, there was one point where he went up on the top rope and no one was near him and he slipped. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah. There was a guy tweeted that Jeff Hardy's going to end up on the independent scene. He'll just turn up he'll turn up at shows all around the world,
Yeah, I think you could be right, like. And the thing is, like, you do so much for someone.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like with Jeff, like if he does that, he can do what he wants. There's no one watching him.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? I think he doesn't like that whole. He doesn't like the curfew thing. I think he doesn't like being under the monitor. I think he doesn't like I think Jeff has everything under control the majority of the time. But I think then when the scope's on him and he fucks up, I think then he doesn't like that pressure and he can fold. Where if Jeff just does his own thing, he does all these tours, like he's at OTT, he comes to Progress in England, such and such around the world. It would suit him better,
Yeah.
No, I agree. I just be worried about him, but yeah.
Yeah, I think we all will, but like, you know what I mean? There's only so much you can worry. Like, if you burn your bridges, Phil, and you're worried about someone constantly, you just get to the stage where like you can do no more.
You get sick yourself, like, as well. You know
what
I mean?
But people care about him. That's the thing. People care about Jeff, but if you keep caring and you keep giving him chances, and it keeps backfiring, you just have to let the lead go.
It's sad. It is sad.
Very sad, very sad. But that's, I suppose, we hear about that a lot in wrestling.
Yeah,
we do.
Just before we move on as well, I'm just going to make a few AEW news because just while we're here, on AEW. So Tony Khan wants. This is news. This is kind of. I thought he was retired, but Tony Khan wants Juice and Thunder Liger to be in the Owen Hart tournament. So we were there. We ran his farewell tour. We saw him in OTT. I thought he was actually retired. I didn't think. What's that?
This is your thing for times, but I'm gonna defeat the illusion now. But I think usually they switch wrestlers for the role of Jason Thunder Liger. Usually,
I think he wants the original one though.
The original one. Okay, if it's the original one, right? Okay, because he's like in his 60s now.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I think Tony Khan just wants him to fight in the tournament.
Hold on a second. If I missed a trick, there's two.
Yeah, there's a newer fella. Yeah, but there's two.
So the guy we met at OTT is a real guy, isn't he?
He's the original guy. Yeah, and we saw him on Masks, which I never liked.
He was sitting up next to us. Yeah, we were like, fuck. We were like, fuck.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And then in other AEW news, Sammy Guevara and Tio Mello are having a kid.
Really?
Yeah. Sammy. Yeah, they said it's on. This announced actually on Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
Jesus! Congratulations, guys.
Yeah. What is it? They had like the whole gimmick that Sammy did where he just like doing like all these cards coming out. They did that, but it just says we're having a baby. So that was it.
That's pretty good. That's great news. Congratulations.
And the last news is they finally have a date for their video game. End of the month in June. So that's good. I look forward to playing it. If it's going to be like No Mercy, I'm all for playing it.
Rolling back the years.
To be fair, I haven't played a proper like wrestling game in a while. I play my PlayStation, but I haven't played the newest WWE 2K23 but I always loved the original game. So if they toss that type of love with the new AEW game, and like you mentioned about No Mercy, then you know what? I'm going to be all in for this one.
Oh, sweet. We'll have to try and get the team to send us a copy so we can perhaps play it live in the show. So, guys, you're more than welcome to send us a copy, and we'll happily play it live on the show, and we'll give back the feedback from the WrestleSlam team. Right, guys, I'm going to swap quickly to Night of Champions. Seth freaking Rollins defeated AJ Styles to become the new World Heavyweight Champion. Trish Stratus defeated Becky Lynch. Gunther defeated Mustafa Ali. Asuka became the new Raw Women's Champion, beating Bianca Belair. Rhea Ripley with Dominic Cruz defeated Natalya. Brock Lesnar destroyed Cody Rhodes via technical submission. And Kevin Owens and Sami defeated the Bloodline. And we've seen a little crack in the Bloodline. There was a bit of a turn at the end. But, Phil, what was your thoughts on Night of Champions?
10. I don't want to say 10 times, but definitely better than AEW. The Bloodline stuff alone is just every month there's a new thing, a new layer to it, and it just keeps getting better.
It does.
the only fault I have now is Roman not defending his main belts, but it's okay, I think. I'd rather him defend his belt than keep that kind of title reigns going. But if he's, because the rumor is he's not going to defend until SummerSlam, which is ridiculous because that's WrestleMania to SummerSlam without a title defense. That's just too long.
Yeah.
But overall though, that showed like the whole thing was brilliant. Cody Rhodes, the way he lost, I loved it. Asuka winning, all very, very good. Zoe starts aligning herself with Trish, brilliant. All positive stuff. It's all good.
Yeah. I think for me, I agree with Phil. It was way better than Double or Nothing. I think we all know this by now, but the reason why they opened the match for the world title, because it's more of like a main event one, was because of course Seth was scheduled to film the rest of the new Captain America movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a bit of a surprise. Like, oh, they're starting off for the World Championship. Grand. But I was putting for AJ because we were all going for Seth Rollins. But I was like, I'll be good if AJ wins this one. But I was happy to see Seth wins. I feel like they're going to go with a good direction with the world title, especially since they're going to continue the past history with the world title. And it was that I absolutely I love Becky and Trish's one. I thought Lita was going to come out and cost Becky Lynch, but no, it was still good. Rhea Ripley and Natalia. I feel bad for Natalia just because I was like, she's never going to get a big push. I don't think, lads. Let's be real, unfortunately. What is it?
And it was her birthday as well.
Oh, no way. Sorry, Natalia, if you're watching, our hearts go out to you physically. But it was Cody Rhodes. I feel like they're going to do the whole build up with Cody for the next WrestleMania of him dethroning Roman Reigns. He's just going to keep on losing every match. They're going to pull like a John Cena losing against The Rock. It's like he's going to be on losing streaks constantly till WrestleMania and he dethrones Reigns. And the Bloodline storyline, I'm with everyone else, and especially yourself, Phil. I'm on board with it. Absolutely loving it. And I can't wait to see where they're going to go from there. Just Roman constantly losing his mind. One thing I will say, and this is something that Phil usually says, but if you saw a bit of the pre-show, I think it was like LA Knight's entrance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It was like the fans was clearly cheering for LA Knight, and they badly edited in the booing as soon as he made his appearance. You could tell the fans was cheering. So, and the clear boo. So that was a sign that that he is LA Knight at the moment has to be the most over wrestler at the moment. Like,
I'm gonna make a bold prediction. I like making bold predictions. I think Cody Rhodes defeats Gunther for the Intercontinental belt at WrestleMania next year. I think that's the match. I think Cody will beat Gunther, who has a big, long reign, like Reigns.
Yeah.
And we might see Reigns and Cody again, belt for belt.
Yeah. I mean, I was being bold the last episode that I would like to see Gunther being the one to dethrone Roman Reigns. As in, everyone just looks, oh, Gunther's in the Continental Championship, he's going to lose this one. No, he beats Roman, underestimates Roman Reigns. That's just me saying out loud. Bowen, I would like to see that, but I feel like they are going to use Cody at this point. Like,
I think there has got to be more to it than meets the eye. My only worry at the moment is they're going to rehash Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins, which I'm not a fan of. At the moment,
a lot of history. We know Seth beat Brock at WrestleMania 35 for the belt, but yeah, I don't know. Like Seth Rollins is at a really good place at the moment. AJ, obviously that was a good match. Obviously Trish Stratus looks like the old Trish Stratus, which is great. But yeah, I think they're at a crossroads with Cody. Obviously he's still in the spotlight, still one of the biggest names on the roster. He's obviously facing Brock. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But I think after the losses to to Roman, I don't know. Is that the best they could have done with him? I don't know. It's a tricky one. Like,
is he going to win Money in the Bank to get his WrestleMania title shot without him winning the Royal Rumble?
I know I can't even mention him, but I'll be kind of gutted that Cody's if he wins Money in the Bank. I'd rather if they just like keep the build up with him constantly losing matches here and there, because I'm pulling for LA Knight to win Money in the Bank. I feel like I'm the only one that's praising LA Knight right now, but yeah, I stand by it. But
Oh,
I love him. I love LA Knight. I think, look, when you look at Night of Champions, I look at the card and I think Asuka beating Bianca, we could have said it might have happened. That's okay. That's okay, you know. Rhea Ripley obviously being dominant. I think that's okay. Brock defeating Cody. Look, they're gonna kind of have a little trilogy, I suppose, in that sense. But like, obviously, you look at Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I did think they were going to lose the belts to the Bloodline, but I do like the way the match ended. I really do,
that was
and
good.
I think we're going to see a lot of cool stuff now between Roman and Solo and the Usos. I think there's going to be a lot of turning and shit's going to. Obviously, they're going to address this Friday at SmackDown. Now, something might happen at Raw tonight. I don't know. Probably not. Probably Friday at SmackDown. You know.
You reckon Rikishi's going to come into it?
Yeah, 100%. He's going to play a role. He's back. I'm telling you. He's coming back, and he will look after the Usos, I'd say.
Yeah. They'll end it by having the dance off though, with the Usos just taking out Reigns and there's like a full on dance off in the middle of the ring.
Right, I'd love to see Rikishi back. I'd love to see him play the bad guy with the Usos. I'd love it. But
wait, you're saying that he's going to run over Stone Cold Steve Austin?
I did it for the Rock. But Phil, what was your take on the Champions? Like out of 10, what would you give it?
I give it easy an 8.
Perfect. Matt Murphy?
Very good.
I'm gonna be tired. I'm gonna give it like a 9 or 10. Wait, 9 or 8 at least, because I was surprised at how well it was actually so put together. Like, so I mean, it wasn't WWE's greatest, but it wasn't the best. It wasn't good. It was great. It was a great watch anyway. So I had a good one watching it anyway. So
no, I agree. And we're gonna swap guys to NXT Battleground. Obviously, Carmelo Hayes obviously beat Braun. Our very own Leah Valkyrie or Valkyra, she was very unlucky not to win. Did you see the way she walked into the arena? She had the swagger. She's a big deal, Phil, isn't she? She's destined. Obviously, Stratton's look, she's been built well, but obviously Aoife is on the big things, and I'm sure she'll have that belt before the end of the year. What do you think?
Yeah, the confidence is definitely growing. Every single time you see her, she's definitely becoming more assured. I think it's only a matter of time before she reaches that next level. There's so many of them on the cusp, like Cora Jade, Roxanne Perez. They're all those young girls are all of years ahead of them. They're all going to be so good.
And Aoife, I think Aoife's so young, like she's only 26, I believe, but like she's main event in NXT, which is incredible. She's been there, I suppose, 2 years now, just over, but. She's a really good wrestler. I'm not taking nothing away from Tiffany, and I'm really not. This is not me being biased because I'm Irish. I think like Lara, she's a better wrestler.
Yeah, I think Tiffany was selected.
Tiffany,
they selected her the minute that thing got injured. I don't personally see it, but it is what it is. I would have put it on to Lady Valkyrie.
Yeah, because
I just see Mandy Rose. What's the word for Mandy Rose lookalike a little bit? I don't know.
Yeah, it's look, I'm not taking nothing away from Tiffany. Tiffany's fantastic, but I just think Lyra is a better wrestler, more grounded. And it's a little fact for you guys. Leah Valkyria, her first match was in Cork.
Yeah.
That's
2015, first match was in Ballyfahan Community Centre in Cork.
And I was there.
So that's an interesting. And I was there as well. Yeah.
Every time we talk about like Aoife Valkyrie or even JD McDonough on the podcast, I feel like we're like proud of forgotten family members for them. Like I remember when you were competing in this area, we were there. Look at you now, going over the place. So that's what I felt like when we talk about them. But they're doing it proud, lads.
What I'm waiting for, this is not being cocky. I'm waiting for WWE to send me an email to say, can we use one of the first ever interviews with Aoife Valkyrie? Because you've done 2 or 3, and we can see you've done one so many years ago. Can we use that for the highlight reel for her WrestleMania moment or something? And that's what I'm waiting for. But no, you I always say, guys, and I love talking about our homegrown talent like JD McDonough, Aoife, like Raven Creed, Seth Martina. I could name millions, but I just love talking about them because we've been lucky enough to see them in Cork and Dublin, all around the country, and it's really nice to see them get their big breaks. And like I think Aoife done a super pro last night. She really did. An exceptional wrestler, and she's come on leaps and bounds, but she is an all-round wrestler. I think she is so gifted in that ring, and her promos are so much better. She has that swagger, and look, yet again, I'm going to say it. She's going to be NXT champion before the end of the year. There's no doubt about it.
It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, only a matter of time.
I was just going to say, if WWE is going to use your footage, you should charge like €100 per use. You need to make back some money, no, Jerry.
10 grand they can have it. 10 grand they can have it. Now, they can have it for free. Just put us ringside for WrestleMania 39 and 40 and 41, and give us the buffet and let us meet the superstars after the show. And look, you can have that footage. There's no problem whatsoever.
Infinite WrestleMania tickets.
Yes, and fly us on the WWE jet. But I'm going to quickly go through that card quickly, guys. So look, obviously we know Battleground was on. And yet again, what a pay-per-view. It's I love NXT, but obviously Wesley defeated Tyler Bate and Joe Gacy.
Can I just say one thing about Wesley, just while we're here?
Yeah.
He's going to go down as one of the most underrated North American champion. I think nobody talks about him. He's very good. I think he broke a record last night by having the most successful title defenses or something.
Yeah.
So just so people know, like he's talented and he will go places. I just think when all said and done, I don't think he'll get the credit he deserves. I don't. I just think people are looking at other people and they're not really looking at him.
Yeah, no, I completely understand where you're coming from, and that's nothing worse when you see someone underrated and they don't get the props. No, there. He defeated Dragon Lee. Dragunov defeated how would you say it? Jake?
Dijak.
Yeah, there you go.
Dijak. Yeah.
Gallus obviously with Joe Coffey defeated the Creed brothers. Tiffany obviously beaten Aoife Valkyrie, Lyra Valkyra, and Carmelo Hayes defeated Braun Breaker. So that was your roundup for NXT Battleground. There's a lot happening, guys. There is a lot happening.
There was an Impact special as well on Friday night. There's just so much happening. There is so much happening.
Yeah, I'm just going to flat out say, but fair play to all the wrestlers, but being a wrestling podcaster is hard now, lads.
This week has been hard.
We have to keep up with so much pay-per-views going on. Because I think it was like after Night of Champions, like, oh yeah, there was Impact.
Like just speaking of Impact, I had one of the best spots of the weekend with Scott going through that flaming table.
Yeah, there was a lot of blood too. Like
that was pretty crazy. Like Bully Ray throwing him through the flaming table.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff. Impact is so underrated. But obviously Under Siege was pretty cool.
Yeah, Tiffany had Trinity back in action. Had her first match on.
Yeah. Did you enjoy the match?
I did. From she's coming back, like it's going to take her a while to get to where she wants to be, but her and Deanna is the match.
It's a match to make, yeah. And speaking of Deanna, obviously she defeated Jordynne Grace by pinfall. Since Grace lost, she can no longer challenge for the title as long as Deanna is champion. That is crazy stipulation because Jordynne Grace is so good. I'm kind of shocked with that. Yeah, I'm shocked. Not with the outcome.
Yeah. It's a crazy situation because she's actually gone from Impact.
Yeah,
that was her last match.
That's why they've done it, obviously, Obviously, Steve Macklin defeated PCO via pinfall. That match was insane. Alex Shelley defeated Eddie Edwards, Frankie, Jonathan Gresham, Moose, and Yuya by pinfall. Trey Miguel defeated Chris Sabian, X Division Championship. ABC defeated Subculture.
I love Subculture. They're so good.
They are so good, yeah. Trinity defeated Gazelle Shaw. Rich Swan, Sammy, and Jake defeated the Design. Nick Atlas defeated King Kenny, or Kenny King. Jesus Christ, I have to stop saying King Kenny. That's a Liverpool thing. Joe Hendry defeated Dirty Tango, and the Death Dolls defeated the Coven. But yeah, look, let's go to Nick Aldis. We were on about Nick Aldis there a while back on the last show and the show prior. Obviously, look, he was destined to beat Kenny King. Yes, I got it.
Yeah. I'm usually the one with the bad names, Jerry. Like I'm being overshot. Like
I've got kids. That's all I can say. My brain's like mush today. There's been so much happening, and I'm not trying to kind of go out of wrestling, but like there was boxing on, there was the football on. It was a great weekend of sports. But look, wrestling is where it's all at. But yeah, Impact for me on the Siege was pretty good. I really enjoyed it. We will have an Impact star on in the next few days as well, guys. So just keep an eye on the YouTube channel for that. But yeah, Phil, what stood out for you in regards to Under Siege? What match was the match for you?
Chris Sabin was quite good. I really like that. I really like the main event. I think for a man, again, we've talked about Chris Jericho earlier, who being the PCO is even older.
Yeah, he is.
And he's literally, this man's insane. Like, he is insane.
He's a mad thing. He's a mad thing.
Imagine to think he was one of the Quebecers, like, and they were early 90s.
Yeah.
You know,
he's been around a long time. Yeah, sure. I think he made his debut in '93, didn't he, in WWF?
Yeah. He's probably wrestling since the late 80s, mid 80s. So like wrestling over 40 years nearly, I'd say.
Yeah, and I think what is he? He's
55, I think. I think he's 55.
It's crazy when you think about it, don't it?
Yeah. And then again, the belt is on the right man because Steve Macklin is just on. He's on fire at the moment. He's just so good. And I actually thought Bully Ray was actually gone from Impact, but no, he's involved now in this big storyline with Scott. So we'll see where that leads to.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Like I like Bully Ray. Apparently, you always hear mixed stories of Bully Ray in real life, but look, he is what he is. You know what I mean? And it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah.
But no.
And then we have Slammiversary coming up there now in next month is the end of June, July. So there's loads happening. Slammiversary is usually the show where all the wrestlers start showing up, all the new guys. So
stand by what I said. We have a lot of work to do with the best in podcasters, lads.
Yeah.
So much.
Too much to do. But yeah,
this weekend was one of the busiest I've seen in a while. There's so much on. Just the weekend it's gone,
It's all good. But guys, if you haven't seen it yet, there's an exclusive interview with us on RCW, Billy Bedlam. It's on the YouTube channel, so do check it out. There's been we announced and we showed the first image of the brand new RCW Tag Team Championship belt. There's been a lot of tweets, a lot of wrestlers want their hands on that. So if you haven't seen the belt, go on to our Twitter page, WrestleSlam, aka Slam Wrestle. And also, guys, do check out our latest interview with Billy Bedlam. We'll have an Impact Wrestler on with us this week as well. And yet again, this show is brought to you by Manscaped.com and the Baco Casino Cork City. Phil, anything else? Matt, anything else that we need to drop before we finish up?
Just kind of looking around. I think we've covered everything. I think everything is kind of covered.
I think I'm proud to almost steal Jerry's run by being the man with the shades. As you can see, I may have done this wrong, but look, I'm on the spot.
Like
what can I say?
I like it. I will say one thing. I'm looking forward to attending RCW in the keynote June 10th with both of you.
Yeah, looking forward to it because I missed the last one due to other commitments. So I'm looking forward to being back.
Yeah. Where are we going to go for the pre-party, lads? Where are we going to go and get some food? We want our listeners to listen carefully. So Brewdog is gone. We can't go to the Brewdog because that has unfortunately closed down. But I'm thinking hot wings. I'm
all for new stuff as well. So anywhere that's kind of cool and in at the moment.
Yeah. Matt Murphy, any suggestions for pre-party June 10th?
That sounds good, but I'm more hooked on RCW right now, lads. I'm hooked on a feeling.
I actually think we should go to the new Japanese restaurant.
Where's that?
Paul Street, I think.
Phil, lad, you ruined the vibe. I said hook on the feeling and I want you to take it away. Right, we'll do it one more time. Take one. Take two. Come on, let's move it. All right. I'm hooked on a feeling. Take it, Phil.
Hooked on a feeling. I'm hooked on the feeling. Hooked on the feeling. We've got Raven Creed and Red and O'Connor. They're gonna beat the shit out of each other.
Okay, we're keeping that, Phil.
Yes, we're keeping that. But listen, guys, thank you yet again for tuning into all the shows. And I will say this, the last couple of weeks have been immense. A lot more people tuning in, which is great. So I think we have a lot of the old heads back. And if you can, subscribe to the WrestleSlam podcast. I think we're just over the 400 mark. We never ever promote. We never ask for anything. But if we can, try and get us up to 500 subscribers. We know we can do it if we try, but we just don't try. So if you get a chance to subscribe, hit the subscribe button.
I'm hoping to have 600 by September.
That's a realistic goal. I think if we actually push it and we tell people to subscribe, then they will.
700.
800.
1,000 by Christmas.
Ooh,
Infinity subscribers. Let's do that.
I like it. But yet again, guys, thank you for tuning our way, and we will catch you very soon. Adios.